he had been living abroad. We were married in a country that neither of us were from. I'm an international teacher, and so my ex moved to the country that I got a job at. We were living in Spain at the time, and basically, as baby was born, everything just got increasingly worse. And to the point where when I look back, I was really just in survival mode. It's just arguments nonstop. I don't have even access to my home. I don't have keys. I'm locked out multiple times. The heat is sweltering hot. I'm not allowed to use the air conditioning. I'm not allowed to cook. I'm not allowed to buy groceries for myself. I have no access to money. I am at times able to leave the house with my tiny infant, 2 months old, only to just walk around in the sweltering heat. I don't even know the best way to describe it other than like I'm in an altered state because I'm just in survival. Every day I'm trying to avoid being attacked verbally, psychologically, and you're just trying to build up barriers just so you could focus on hopefully getting something to eat, taking care of your basic needs, and taking care of an infant. So once I talked to my girlfriends, that's when I realized, oh my gosh, this is not normal. Like, because he had really been trying to convince me of this. And they're like, you don't need to go back to that. That's not safe. That's not safe for you. That's not safe for your child. Like, you're all alone. And that's when basically I had the courage. I just said, we've been having this conversation. We've been doing therapy. But I never really felt safe enough when we were living in this small rural town with nobody. I could not tell him because now looking back, I know that he was trying to show me how strong and powerful he was by the other aggressions that he would do, throwing things, isolating me, physically blocking me, not touching me, but blocking me. And those, I knew I was very fearful of him. And I said that multiple times. But only when I was in my own town with my own family, was I able to actually say, look, I'm not returning to that life. I'm not returning to this relationship. Happy to have you. I'm not saying you can't be a dad, of course, wonderful, but this is not the life that I want for my child. And he, I think by that point, he already knew everything that had gone on. But I think because we were out of that environment, it was like, okay, that's your decision. It's the right one. This is going to be good for our child. And he left. So that's the crazy thing. He left us and he went back to Italy. I meet with a court mediator who basically says, so we're not going to be able to continue with this because you have a Hague Convention petition on your file. And I just said, I don't know what that is. And she said, well, I was like, can you tell me a little bit more about that? And she's like, sorry, I can't tell you anything about that. You're going to have to look on the file. And I was like, well, I don't know what that is. This is the first time I've been in court. And so I'm simultaneously trying to figure out what is the Hague Convention and then also figure out how to get a lawyer. And I also don't even know what kind of lawyer I would need because I don't even know what the Hague Convention is. And I have a court date because it has been inserted into the divorce petition that I initiated. To even process information, like I am so, I feel people overuse the word traumatized, but I am so in an overload of
Italy.
My child returned. I had never seen them look like this before. There's just something happened. I didn't know what it was, but there was a problem. And it was just like complete zoning out, no response, no joy, no nothing. It was like I was seeing the shell of a child. He basically made a huge scene at the airport. There was a huge scene. The police had to take him off of my sister and I. He first attacked my sister, then me. My child is screaming. And in the end goes in a private room with the police. His uncle was a police person, and was able to leave the airport with our child because he was able to show them the ex parte that said I had supervised the visitation and he had sole custody up until the international flight. And he then takes my child for another 10 days. I don't see my child at all. I'm calling US and international lawyers to try to figure out what to do. I'm terrified to go to the house, which is not safe enough for me. And then I finally have to wait for the court hearing, Zoom court hearing in the States, to then somehow calmly tell the judge that my ex attacked me and my sister, took our child, and I haven't seen our child since I arrived in Italy. My 50% custody was stripped to about 3% custody. And I had to fight for 2 years, and about 2.5 years. And at about 2.5 years after moving here, thinking that I would have 50% custody and access to my child, I was able to finally get about 50%. I have no decision-making power of schooling. I have no decision-making power of their health. And yeah, it's shocking. He took the house. Like, no one can believe that. Mm-hmm. And I can only relate it back to both being a foreigner